Hey everyone, it is late at night and I am Norman. Tonight, once again, we're going to look at some ugly watches that I've found all over the internet. Mainly eBay. So let us begin. So, brown is the new black, right? Not this brown. I mean, just look at that turd-looking watch. I found this piece on eBay, and at the time of this recording, it's actually still up for sale for $65. I mean, that color of brown is so horrible. I would like to know what the brand was thinking when they decided to go for an absolute poop color brown. Now, it does have a cool looking strap on it. It looks like the Swatch rally straps that I really like. And it doesn't help that this thing is just a round lump in that color. The dial is super minimal. The crown looks like it doesn't belong there. And it's 45 millimeters. So it's a giant lump of brown on your wrist. Apparently it's a plastic men's dive watch from the 70s. I definitely believe that it's from the 70s. Horrible design like this could only come out of the 70s. Or the 90s. Yeah, there's not much else to say about this crappy looking watch. Now, the next watch is kind of in stark contrast to that last one. This is actually a pretty lovely looking clear watch. I found this one on a blog to watch. And this is a Sestos? I don't even know. It's almost like brands intentionally make their names impossible to pronounce. I feel like they just have it out against us YouTubers. Probably podcasters as well. But this watch actually looks pretty cool. The reason it's on this list is because it is gigantic. As you can see, it is extremely thick. But being a tonneau shape, it's 42 millimeters, and that is huge for that shape. I mean, just look at some of these wrist shots. Huge. But I do like me some clear watches. I don't know why, I always have. Ever since I was little, I was obsessed with crystals and clear things. There was a toy called Crystar that I loved, and I've mentioned that in a previous video. It's been a while though. So things like clear swatches have always intrigued me. And it'd be really cool to see a crystal or sapphire crystal cased watch in person, but maybe something a bit smaller than this. The dial is so skeletonized you can barely see the hands, but it looks good. I like the way you can see the pushers going through the case. That's kind of cool. There's a variant of it where parts of the movement and the pushers are gold, which adds a cool bit of color to it. However, these watches are $45,000 and $46,000. Well, almost $47,000. And a lot of the commenters weren't having it, so apparently this is a Russian brand, and as one commenter pointed out, the brand name kind of reeks of cheap Chinese AliExpress type watches. And maybe it does. But these watches are just so thick and chunky and big, just no. If they were sleek and smaller, maybe, but not for that price. The next watch on my list is the cushion of all cushion watches. I mean, that is all cushion. Look at that thing. The dial and the bezel on this watch actually looks really cool, but that cushion is so crazy. I mean, this is like a bed-shaped case. It's a California King. By the way, I found this on eBay and it actually sold. Someone made the seller an offer and it was accepted. The original list price was about $195. In some of the pictures, it looks like someone glued a watch onto a big metal cushion. It's almost like you could detach the watch, which would be weird. It's like a new unnecessary feature. You can detach your watch from the cushion. Why? Why not? I know why, because that cushion is way too big. The next watch on my list I also found on eBay, and it's a Winnie the Pooh Jump Hours watch. I made a note of this watch a while ago, and when I went to gather all the different watches together for this video, I looked at this one and wasn't sure what I was thinking. This is actually a really cool looking watch. It's minimal, it's vintage style, it has Winnie the Pooh on it. So this one isn't really on the ugly watch list. But I did find a Winnie the Pooh watch that is ugly. Look at this piece. What is that? That is almost terrifying. Oh, just no. Oh my. I mean, that would be a very interesting boardroom meeting where someone came up with this case design. We're gonna make the case shaped like Winnie the Pooh's head. That'll look good. No, it won't. It'll look terrifying. This next eBay watch is really crazy. I mean, we've seen some unnecessary chunks in 1990s watch designs, but this is chunks on steroids and cocaine and maybe a little meth. I mean, check out those lugs. Those are crazy. The dial on it is vintagey and looks kind of cool. But all those chunks are just so over the top and not cool looking. But it is unique. I have never seen a case that looks like this before. Maybe they were going for like prize ribbon aesthetic. That's kind of what those lugs remind me of. The blue ribbon watch in gold. And apparently this watch sold for $29. Some of the side views of this watch make it look even wilder. Insane chunkage. And according to the seller, it's actually running, so someone got themselves a $30 mechanical watch that has all the chunks you could ever want or need. Next up, we have a watch from Mars. Well, it's a Martian watch at any rate. I found this watch on a blog to watch, and it looks like something straight out of a low-budget indie B sci-fi movie. Or Barbarella, at which point this watch would be really cool. 'Cause I mean, Barbarella. And it's an intriguing design. Those hands are pretty crazy. They're clear with white painted near the edges of them. They kind of vanish in the dial, but kind of a cool idea. The designs on the skeletonized dial look pretty cool. And the case is an interesting idea, but it just looks like weird fantasy plastic. Like, is this secretly a Barbie coffee table from a Princess Barbie set? Okay, I do like their red logo that's on the dial though. That looks pretty cool. And I kind of like the strap too. It's cool that what you can see through the white bits of the skeletonized dial is black. That's pretty cool. But this is an Aventi watch, and if you've seen their other pieces, they're kind of chunky and odd looking. Like they don't seem to sit terribly well on the wrist. They kind of stick out a bunch. But I think, if I remember right, they offered some pieces with sapphire cases at a much more reasonable price than most. So that's good of them. But yeah, that case material, finishing, whatever that is. Yeah, no. But I mean, maybe if you're Martian, it's kind of sexy. Alright, this last watch I found on professionalwatches.com. And kind of in keeping with the theme of most of the watches in this video, this watch actually doesn't look that bad. But there is a reason it's on this list. So that black and orange bezel looks absolutely amazing on this watch. I love the dark colors with orange highlights. That's just great. The cushion case looks really nice. I like that bracelet on it. I think it fits the design pretty well. Even the date window looks cool. It has orange around it, framing it. but then there's a thin horizontal line that goes through it, and beyond it, it just looks cool. It looks like part of the design of this watch. The placement of the text and the branding on the dial is so great. It's offset to the left on the top and to the right on the bottom, and it just looks really nice. So why is this watch on this video? Look at that hour hand. Why? That is a baby hand. Oh my goodness. I mean, I realize that the minutes hand is very important, but why not do the hour hand in a reasonable proportion and just make it darker so it's not quite so eye-catching? But it's just this tiny little thing. I mean, even the square of lume on the seconds hand is wider than the hour hand. That poor hour hand. I mean, hour hands are short anyway. Poor little fellas, and this one is just itty bitty. I feel like they should partner with Teen Titans for this one. The baby hands watch, I think that would be great. I mean, this literally looks like that episode. Maybe at one point it was a normal hour hand and someone accidentally hit it with a shrink ray. And that was after all the QC was done. Who knows? But yeah, that was a very interesting choice on Doxa's part. But I mean, if you like this watch, they retail for around $2,000. And of course, the links to all of these watches is in the description below. So there you have it, a bunch of ugly and some ugly-ish watches. Thanks for watching.